guys. How are we doing? Good. Before we even get started, I have a couple of things. I sort of switched up the first one that I did from the second one. Is there any specific skills that you guys want to see at all? This is Oscar, by the way. He's going to be helping out. Any specific things that you guys wanted to see? Anything, dismounts, mounts, skills that you guys wanted to cover? How about what? All of the skills? All right, we'll see what we can do.
Work your way through the thick book. Let's start.
So basically, talking about coaching Pommel Horse, mentally you need to be the strongest in the gym, which is what I try to tell my Pommel Horse guys is they're the elite of the elite. The sport is already the most difficult thing that they could possibly be doing at this age, and they're lucky enough to be the best of the best on the most difficult offenders. I teach them that there has to be something internal that keeps them on the horse, because as soon as they jump up and your brain completely blanks out and your hands start to shake involuntarily, I'm going to be the last person that they're thinking about. Your parents in the stands, your teammate, none of that matters, because you're the only person on that piece of equipment and you're the one that's freaking out and has to work your way through the routine. So the first thing they need to do is mentally be prepared. The second thing they need to do is physically know what positions they're trying to hit. So when we're talking about something like a moor, I will actually physically have the kids go into that plank position. I'll physically have kids go down into a moor, which is basically a half turn. You get a bonus tenth out of doing that with our new rules. And I'll have them go into this position. I'll just check their hollow. Are your legs tight? Are your thighs tight? Good. Are you pushing? And you're right at the belly button. I teach kids that the hip line and the bottom of your ribs, like right beneath that solar plexus, that's where you want that pommel to be. There's only two positions in the moor. One is before you get to the first position, which is this, which is the square. You're square over the leather. The pommel is in that sweet spot right underneath your ribs and your belt line. And you have to hit that position if you're planning on successfully completing a moor. If you find, because every kid wants to rush into it and turn into it with their feet still over the leather over here, and they fall off, I ask them immediately, did you find this position? There's only two positions you can be in. One is a normal cross position, cross circle position, straight this way over the horse, and one is parallel with the horse. If you didn't hit that parallel position, the same one you did on the ground, then you're not going to be able to successfully complete the moor. And I just will, honestly, I'll have them do that. The way I run practices, or keep in mind this is before we're getting into like the end of season, which is routines. I will have several different stations, one of them stretching, some mushroom work, some scissor work on a pommel horse, and I will watch sequences on Pommel Horse. I do 2-minute rotations. We go for about 6 minutes. I give everybody a drink, come back, separate them again into stations. We go for another 6 minutes around. That's usually how I start, and then we can break into skill work or we can do routines. Let's do a couple of travel. Down the horse, travel down, making sure that they're counter-rotating, making sure that their midsection and their butt is tight. And I'll just tell them, look where you're going before you get there, make room for your hand, and I will walk them through the travel down 10, 15 times, and then I have them do as many as they can.
Can you show us that, like grabbing the kid's legs and walking them around?
Sure. You ready? Okay. We'll go one circle. Good. All right. Ready? Reach that hand over.
So,
There you go. Stay on there for half a second longer. Put your right hand on the pommel. Yeah. Now, lift that hand up. Rotate towards me. This way. There you go. Now reach that hand. Beautiful. Got it. Perfect. I'll just walk through that I usually do that with sophomores. Sophomores is when I try to teach travel downs to kids, as I'm sure everybody does here. And I'll do that 5 times in a row. Try to not do that every day of the week, because it gets exhausting. So I'll try to cut out a specific day. I'll do it twice a season with 10 kids, and then they're sort of on their own. let's see. Most of the stuff is about hand speed. If you're looking at routine construction, for JV kids, always start routines the same way, and that is starting with 2 circles in the center of the horse. Circle, circle, leg split in the back into a scissor or a false scissor. I find that, and I usually will have them go into a scissor hop half. Gets them doing a B, they feel cool about doing a B. Gets the one major requirement, which are circles, out of the way. It gets them to the other side of the horse, which is a requirement. And it gives them a scissor requirement as well. Do you want to try it? Do you want to do that? Just circle, circle, and then stop in the back.
On here?
Yeah. Boom, like that. I'll have them split their right leg over, or if they're going the opposite way, left leg over, and then they just throw it right into it. Do 3 false scissors on each leg. Before I even get to teaching circles, I have to have my freshmen be able to do that. Yeah, drive that back leg, lean, drive and lean. Good. Teaches them rhythm, teaches them the degree to which they're going to have to lean on either hand, coming around on circles. It's difficult to do. Not a lot of freshmen do it until more towards the end of the season. But I tell them that it's a necessary step before they can start to support themselves around on circles. I have a small bucket that I will use for kids. I'll just have them do, I say if you're a Pommel Horse guy, freshman, sophomore, junior, not on varsity yet essentially, you have to do 150 a day. Varsity guys, I try to get them to do more than 100 circles a day on Pommel Horse. Which is why I was really impressed with Andy Isaacson when he said he did like 113 circles in a row or something. That was insane. Any other skills that anybody wants to see specifically? Let's do a scissor hop half. Scissor hop half is one of my favorite easy Bs to do. It's really kind of like a magic trick with your hand. Nice, good. Let's do one more. So if you watch, it's all in his right hand. The direction that he's going to, turn and push. Good. If that hand doesn't turn and get down quick enough, then the skill is always going to sit and come to a stop on the leather. So really when you're teaching JV kids, even varsity kids that are learning, like he didn't have one before we started today, when you're teaching kids that skill, if you don't have that hand down, and really I tell them it's like a magic trick. You have all of the show going on up here when you drive your back leg up and your toes are pointed and your knees are straight. That's what every judge is looking at, and it's not really a hop. It's maybe a tenth of a second that both hands are off the pommels, but you're not tossing yourself and then catching yourself. The whole time you lift up, that hand goes right back down and finishes the skill so that you can work your leg cuts out of that. That's an easy B that I teach JV kids and freshmen if they're able to do it, but they will not ever have to compete. What else? What else do we want to see?
What do you tell kids? And if you have to address this in your gym, kids that will do 20 circles in a row and wash them.
Yeah.
Great. What you're going to do is one more. Circle and a half fall off. 2 circles fall off. I was always taught if you can do 2 circles, you can do it on.
Yeah, if you can do 2, you can do 10.
If you can do 2, you can do.
Right.
You go.
I mean, if it's a mental thing, then I do all sorts of different things. I'll lower the horse for them, make it feel more manageable. I will. We happen to have a small buck in the gym that doesn't have these sides, so it's literally just the center of the Pommel Horse. I'll have them sit there for a long time. I'll have them just do bucket circles, honestly. I'll set up a mat on one side. If it's a technical issue, then I'll literally just have them take 4 turns in a row. I'll watch it from this angle. I'll watch it from this angle. Generally, it has to do with either hand speed or if they're leaning back too far. Or they're just afraid of whacking themselves. And then I make all of my kids wear pants, wear spandex pants, yeah. I know for some reason Pommel Horse kids, like Pommel Horse specialists, like take it as like a sense of pride that they have all these dings on their shins. But when it's my rotation to be at Pommel Horse, I will force them to put pants on because that's what they're going to be competing in. And honestly, I don't want them thinking about whacking themselves on the horse. I want them to leave that mental slamming yourself into or scraping the leather every time you come by. I want that to be what you can do on your own when you're in your own practice or when you're with another coach. But when you're with me, pants all the time. Because I'm trying to advance you, not stay stagnant with where you're at. So try something different when I come to Pommel Horse. What's up? A lot of it is going slower than I would like. So lowering the horse, like I said, physically grabbing a kid's legs and just walking him through. If a kid can do 20 mushroom circles, then and not do circles on the Pommel Horse, I mean,
I'm confounded by it as well. I'm absolutely not.
I mean, ask them what they think it is. What I was saying to the last group is I'll show videos all the time, or I'll go into and show them on my phone, and I'll zoom in on the guy's hands. A lot of times what I find is that kids translating from a mushroom where their hands are flat and going to a pommels where their wrists are straight instead of bent, is that it should be easier. You should feel like you have more leverage over the horse, more height away from the leather, but they're not used. They're used to being here and safe. I will tell them that if they don't feel like they are actually pushing themselves away from the horse, then they're sinking closer and closer to the horse. I'll also set up a P-bar block, or just any mat, any of those, like a blue mat like that, or even a resin mat like this, and I'll have them just get comfortable up here and just swing a half a circle to here, or swing a full circle and stop, and they need to feel themselves centered over the horse. I mean, there's really all sorts of different things, but it sounds like, I mean, physically that person's capable. Just get them mentally.
I think a lot of the guys that are just getting
prepared.
up to the horse, the big boy horse, I think they have it in their mind, hey, I did one, or I did two, that's great, and that's where I'm going to stop. And
Yeah.
they go up, and before they even touch the horse, they know they're doing one, and then they're done.
Yeah.
I know they're doing two, and then they're going to hop, but they're all, you see them, as they come around for that second circle, you see their shoulders, their hands shifting away.
Yep.
So you got to tell them, no, you're getting up there, you need to have it in your mind, you're doing 5.
Yeah.
You make it to 2.5, you make it to 3, you're making progress, and you set that, or you're doing 10. Like, get up there and get mentally, like, tell them, you should have it in mind, you're doing 25 on this turn.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
Here's the deal, the pressure's on, do 25, and then maybe they'll do 3.
I also, 2 things that I do all the time, and this might sound lazy, I like bringing other coaches there and letting them coach for 5 minutes. And this happens on every event, but I find it especially voice, saying the same thing that I've been saying for that to get through. Also, another coach will bring something different to the whole, just ask another coach, do you have 5 minutes? See if you can get this kid to do something, and it might work. Alumni, if they ever come into the gym, I find that those little motivational talks do a ton. And also, now that I'm thinking about it, make sure your kid's not lining his hands up dead center of the pommel, or to the back of the pommel, the heel. You want to be forward on the toe, almost so that you can, I mean, if you can do that with your finger, then you know you're in good shape. If you can't hit that curve with your pointer finger, then you're too far bent. You're too centered, and you're going to fall off after 1.5 every time. Yeah, anything else? Are we good to go?
Yeah, we're at time.
Okay. Oscar, thanks, man.
Thank you.
You want to try that trap? You want to try circle, circle, travel down and walk around?
Sure.
Stay centered. Push. Give it one more shot. Stretch. Push. Keep it focused.
Nice.
Hey, beauty. Nice. 2/10 on the dismount. It wasn't high enough. Nice. Good stuff. All right.
You know what's fun? Do you guys ever try? Have the kids tell you to teach you the skill. And they'll come back, and after you teach them something, tell them, teach me that skill. And they look at you like it's a quiz, and they're like, oh my God, what? And listen to what they tell you, and it's like, no, that's not what I told you. It's amazing what comes back. Because how many times have they told you, well, that coach said this, and that coach never said that.
Oh, yeah, right.
So I wondered after a while, what was I saying that they didn't understand?
Yeah.
And sure enough, when it comes back to me, it's like, okay, what we have here is a failure to communicate, to steal from Paul Newman.
Yeah.
And it's hysterical, some of the things that come back. And then I realize they don't get it. And then the light bulb goes on, and then they're good. But have them try that, and it's fun. At first, they're scared to death. It works.
Yeah, right.
It's a great way to check for understanding.